Jimmy Donaldson ran, him in a suit with the White House in the back, I am running for president, easy dub. Look at us just in a $200 million house. I remember getting my first YouTube paycheck. The first paycheck came in the mail. It said, from Google. I got that by making dumb videos on the internet. It's all yapping. Everything's yapping, bro. If Joe Rogan and Kamala talked about COD zombies for an hour, she would have probably won, bro.
This is Arman Zaidi, a guy who knows all of your favorite YouTubers.
If you do one thing today, you need to subscribe to Arman Zaidi right now.
He's met and worked with some of the biggest creators in the world, including Arak, Ludwig, Churdleys, Adam Wahid, and plenty more. Arman himself is a YouTuber with over 42 million views, almost 100,000 subscribers, and he's worked as a podcast producer, stand-up comedian, and actor. But it was a great chat. We hope you guys enjoy, and be sure to show Arman some love in his socials down below. Without further ado, let's talk to Arman Zaidi.
The fact that we're even doing this right now is just amazing, because I don't really think people think about OG YouTube as much as they should, and like how it's like set up everything. But
it's
good,
legendary, bro.
Yeah, it's straight up like the pinnacle of like YouTube entertainment. Like every single format you see, like I made a video even yesterday about Ray William Johnson. Everything goes back to these OG creators, and so it's definitely it's like a science, man. And I think we hit it off of that. Just even getting into how we first met. Like I made a Ray William Johnson video. You saw it. We talked after in the comment section after that. I recognized you because I was like, oh wait, I've seen this guy's content before. And I even saw in like your videos, like you started going deep in the rabbit hole of old school creators and whatnot.
Yeah. No, that stuff is super important to me, man. OG creators is like, I mean, it's my childhood, bro. That's what I watched like after school, elementary school. Like they mean the world to me, man.
Mm-hmm. How did you get into it? Like from a young age?
I mean, from a young age, I would have to say like literally, I remember the first YouTube video I ever watched as well. I was with like my friend. We like just got back home from school, and then we were just watching. He told me about YouTube. It's like, oh, you could throw up like funny videos, and then everyone watches it. And then we literally logged on to YouTube for the first time. The first video I saw was how to be ninja. And then I clicked on it. And then me and my friends were dying, bro. Because he was an Asian guy. So we made jokes like that all the time. And then we used to like, in school, we got made fun of like being different and stuff. So seeing like this guy like understand and then convey it in such a comedic way was like so like important to us in a way. I'm like, dude, wow, people actually like make the Honda Civic teriyaki jokes. No way, dude, that's crazy. So it just completely blew my mind.
The fact they're doing it and posting it too, like it kind of just validates like, yeah, we all kind of think like that. And I think YouTube was one of the first spaces where everyone kind of realized like, yeah, we're all like a little weird in one way or another, and we can like, it's okay to express your jokes and your creativity. Because we were just talking about it off air too, of like, you go on like news shows or like traditional media podcasts and whatnot, and they're like introducing XYZ so and so, and it's like this big traditional thing, but you need people like Charlemagne who like slice through all the BS. And just tell you how it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, in a way, it was like kind of like a little bit of brain rot, a little bit, because like traditional media would never like present comedy that way ever. You know what I mean? Like this was like the year I saw that video was like 2006, 2007, and it like completely just changed everything, bro.
What made you want to pursue YouTube? Like, you saw that video, you had that reaction with your friends and whatnot. What made you want to take it a step further and like, I guess like kind of be a part of it? Was that like instant where you were immediately, I want to make videos like this, or it kind of just grew over time?
I guess it's like it's a little bit of both, because me and my friends, we always used to make videos back in the day after watching that, like Ryan Higa style. We were like, dude, this is like so much fun. Like that's so sick that these two guys are just recording themselves having fun, like I've never seen that before. And subconsciously I was just like, dude, that's like the life, man. And like, spoiler alert, like people like Smosh, like Anthony Padilla, Ian Hecox, Ryan Higa, and Sean, they were just like broke kids like in their room just like expressing themselves, and now they're like multi-millionaires, bro. Like they've had a very successful career spanning 20 years, and I'm just like, wow, like they didn't know it was going to end up like that either. So for me, it's been just a subconscious interest. I've always loved it, man. I always have. But obviously in the past, like since 2020, I actually like when the pandemic happened, I was like, all right, dude, this is like my chance. This is when like the world is just down. I can finally like pursue this and take a shot at it.
Mhm. And I think you took that chance, bro, pretty well because I discovered your content during the quarantine.
Yeah.
It was around that time I was watching a lot of creator economy related videos in general, but I remember seeing your podcast, and it's rare also, like, in a superficial way. I was watching your videos and I was like, it popped up. I was like, usually I'm not watching creators I don't like immediately recognize from a collab or something. But the
Yeah.
topics were so interesting, and even you had GV Boy, I think is like was his TikTok handle. I used to like during quarantine he was big. I used to watch his motivational videos. I was like, oh, he had him on a podcast. Like, let me check this out. And just hearing you talk about like creators from that perspective during that time, and then eventually doing the skits that you did, which would go and get tens of millions of views on YouTube Shorts, and you had the TikTok and everything going. We saw a lot of creators come out of that quarantine period. It was game changing. I mean, TikTok was formed as a platform during that lockdown.
Yeah, I feel like everyone it was like everyone in like the 2018-19 era. An era was kind of dying down. It was like the PewDiePie, Markiplier, like James Charles, like David Dobrik, Logan Paul era, and it was just kind of going down. And everyone subconsciously, it's like a joke. Like I'm sure you've seen the memes where it's like Joker putting on his makeup, like me going to my 9 to 5, but Ryan's toy reviews
Yeah.
making like $1 million, and like that always subconsciously, I was just like, yeah, man, that pisses me off, bro. Like there's
Yeah,
no
dude.
way like these guys make millions of dollars just messing around having fun. Ryan Higa went from like broke in Hawaii to like a multi-million-dollar mansion in Vegas just for throwing up videos of just being himself. I mean, Jimmy Donaldson's a crazy example,
Yeah.
obviously, but he's just in his room. 1, 2, 3, 4. Count that all the way to $1 billion, practically. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Summarizing that, and it's just like 2020. It just got democratized, and everyone wanted a piece, and everyone was ready. I'm talking Colin and Samir,
Hmm.
Ludwig, Eric. There was a whole new crop of people that was just ready for their opportunity, and both like stories like Ludwig and Eric, they were just waiting for just the right time to jump in, and it's so surreal to see like the new crop and the new era of content come in.
And it's in a lot of ways, I think it just speaks to the natural evolution of media over the past decade or so. Because I mean, YouTube was the sign when it first came out that there was a big change coming. Even when AdSense as a model dropped, it was like, wait, these are like teenagers, and like just like you said, they're in their room. These kids are just expressing themselves, but they have like a monetary value, like they have marketplace value. And this as soon as something like that starts, and you just take it to the extreme, which is now what Mr. Beast is doing. Like this, bro, he was at the All Star game. They gave Mr. Beast a segment in the NBA. Can you imagine like 20 years ago if like some random, I don't know what the equivalent of YouTuber would have been back then, but like
Like
cultural outrage,
like 10 years ago, 2015, they would have to like throw like Anthony Padilla or like PewDiePie up there.
yeah. And it's like it's normal. It's heading towards becoming normal just because creators have that value.
Yeah.
There was a lot of backlash I saw like that Mr. Beast got even for just being there, and people were like, "This is the NBA. Like, why are they putting creators on this big stage?" And it's because they've earned it, frankly. I think the
Yeah.
cultural aspect of it, how that bringing those new audiences and whatnot, people will have to adapt, and the organizations, whether it's the NFL, the NBA, they'll try to make it more accommodating, but that's where we're headed. The
Yeah, I
modern
mean, and
celebrity. Yeah.
and those sports are also just like kind of just only famous in the United States, like NBA,
Hmm.
NFL. Well, Mr. Beast is worldwide, bro. Like kids
Yeah.
in India, in Pakistan, and in like Africa, and like Argentina, bro, Mexico. They all watch Mr. Beast, but like compared to the NBA, it's like who actually watches like a live NBA game anymore? Even in the US, people watch like some dope like Steph Curry clips on House of Highlights and stuff,
Yeah.
but they'll really only watch the games during the playoffs and finals.
I feel like I've consumed more trade information than actual NBA games
Yeah, yeah,
in the
yeah.
past couple of
One
years.
thousand percent. Like, I mean, I don't really watch regular season games that much. Like, I'll probably catch it here and there, but the only time I'm ever like sitting down and watching a live game is during the playoffs when like a team that I really like or there's like a good narrative going on. You know?
Yeah, the storyline was a big thing, and I think even with content, like it's all about like telling those stories. People will You're seeing these companies, even like the NBA, they're doing vlogs, like behind the scenes videos. They're basically becoming YouTubers,
Yeah.
in the way that they're filming a lot of their content, which is fascinating.
Tom Brady's on YouTube, Steph Curry's on YouTube,
Yep,
Will Smith's on YouTube. Everybody's they're running that up, man.
man, and as they should. I mean, it's where things are headed. I I want to switch gears a little bit too. I wanted to ask you because you mentioned it a second ago of I guess kind of like the global audience that creators like Mr. Beast have, and you mentioned Pakistan and India. I immediately started to think of just how our culture views entertainment as a career, and also just our relationship with YouTubers and whatnot. I think that there is now, like, you have your Hassan Minhaj, Asif Ali, all of these old creators, not even creators, older entertainers who kind of came from the traditional space, and
Yeah,
they like laid the groundwork and did this
decades
like,
ago too.
yeah, decades ago. You even had what's the guy's name, bro? The
Russell
OG
Peters.
Russell Peters. You had him who was like this breakout when he first came out too. It was like, oh, that's a brown guy doing that. And for a
Yeah.
lot of people in our culture, it was like we didn't even think this was an option. I'm
Hmm.
curious because you told me that you had these roots in entertainment. You watched YouTube growing up. You even did stand up comedy at a really young age. I think you said you were 16 when you first
Yeah, yeah.
started. Tell me what made you want to take that leap of faith. Like, did it ever cross your mind of like, no one from my culture, I guess, like had really done this before, like, or were you just strictly in it for the game, didn't put any barriers on yourself? Like, how did you treat
Honestly,
entertainment?
it just looked like a lot of fun, to be honest. It just looked like a really good outlet and for me to like get out of my box. And it also was like a great way to meet people, honestly. I remember Fahim Anwar and Rami were like doing a podcast on The Apartment with Ali
Yep.
Baluch, and they were talking about stand-up comedy in LA, and I was just like, yo, that's actually so interesting that there's like this whole underground world in my city that I just haven't really explored yet. And it's like very content adjacent, you know what I mean? It's very like YouTube adjacent. So I was like, dude, I really want to check this out. It seems like a lot of fun. So like in 2019, yeah, in like the summer of 2019, I was still like in high school. And you know how like senior year is like kind of chill, like all the hard stuff is done, like all the college applications are in, and like you're kind of coasting in senior year. You're like you know, you could get C's and no one's really gonna care, you know what I mean? So I was kind of in that mode. I was already coasting. So I was like, damn, I got all this free time in my hands. I should really just like explore this right now, and it seems like a lot of fun. And I met so many cool people from there. I think a lot of my connections in the current day stemmed from that era. Like literally just a friend that I met there that I was like, yo, I'm really good with like YouTube and equipment and cameras and stuff. And he actually ended up opening a podcast studio that I still work at to this day that like blossomed into like so many different things. So, you know, like comedy was just literally the starting point of all that.
Tell me a little bit about that and your because right now you work as a podcast producer, and you've
Correct.
kind
Yeah.
of been behind the scenes with a lot of different creators. You've met some of the biggest creators in the world, worked with them in videos, whether it was your own or through the podcast, just meeting people. What's your view of entertainment from that angle? Because there's content creators from all over the world, but to actually be in a city like LA too, where you're seeing the highest form of production. What is it like? Like, does it feel like a new Hollywood, or how do you describe it?
Damn, I mean, it does feel like a new Hollywood in a way, but for me, it like reinforces the idea. Like, I'm sure like people from other countries and stuff, they probably like read the stories of like, oh, like Mr. Beast did that, or like Ludwig has this contract with YouTube, it's like $10 million. Eric he did this, the biggest pizza in the world, and then people, it's just like a headline for them, right? But for me, I have the opportunity and the blessing to meet them face to face. I'm just like, oh wait, this is like actually like legit. This isn't like some fake Hollywood stuff. And getting to meet them and work with them on the highest level, like making podcasts, it's one of the most surreal experiences. And it's definitely like they're the new hotshots here. Hollywood may be going down, bro.
You actually snuck into that Eric event, which
Yeah, I
is
did.
funny because Eric is known for that kind of thing. Tell me a bit about that and how that went down.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the reason I did it, because I was like, if I do get caught, I feel like he's the one guy who would be like, you know what, it's all good. He'd be, because that's literally his brand, is sneaking into like exclusive events and like specifically like YouTuber events. Like I'm sure you know the lore. The way that Eric got his fame was that he snuck in and put himself and forced himself into Logan Paul's circle and Mr. Beast's circle and David Dobrik's circle. He bro thinks he's part of the team himself into the team. And I'm just like, that was so sick. And like that day, like I was like fearless, bro. Like I was like, I've seen this guy in 2020, broke ass dude from Atlanta, 17K in debt, and now I'm going to his like 10 million subscriber party with the largest pizza in the world. I was like, I'm sneaking in. I don't care. Like no one's gonna stop me, and if I do get caught, the repercussions will be like practically zero. They'll probably dap me up for that. They'll be like, yo, for sure, come in. So, and it was a surreal experience, man. I did sneak in. There were some ballers there, bro. There were some Mark Cubans there. There was some like executives of YouTube, John Ushai, Graham Stephan, Eric himself, obviously, every YouTuber on the block. I was like, yo, I was literally that Drake picture on the when he's like sitting down in the Kentucky team, just bro thinks he's part of the team. I was just like, yeah, I'm gonna just blend in here, and I made like mad connections there. That like I got really connected to John Ushai that day, and I don't know, man, just like little things like that have such crazy domino effects. So it's always surreal. I had a blast. I wasn't supposed to be there for damn sure, but I blended in, bro.
I think you were definitely supposed to be there, and I want to touch on that a little bit too, man, because I've actually had this as an up and coming creator. I've had this dilemma, so to speak, and it's something I've always wondered how to effectively network and create relationships. But you are on a different level, dog. Like the way you be finessing and just getting in the right rooms and having the conversation, like it's a work of art. It's a skill, and so I'm curious your perspective on getting in those rooms and when you interact with creators, because one thing that is a big problem in this industry is, you know, especially when you're on the come up and you're hungry and you're trying to make a name for yourself, it seems like the next big creator, your favorite YouTuber, you know, someone who's got a hot streak right now, getting a collaboration with them is like the golden ticket to success. Or like if they could just hit me with a shout out or tag me on Instagram, like me meeting them would change my life. And it's like you're thinking from a place of just like, how do I come up on this situation? I think every single creator you've worked with and all these relationships you're describing, it comes from a very authentic place, and I can tell because you're not looking for anything. You're genuinely interested in this, you know, this creator space, and you want to learn, and you're already working behind the scenes. I'm just curious of how you network and how you view those relationships, because especially when you're on the come up and you're wanting to grow and pursue this, it's very easy to get in that trap of just like, how do I turn this into a collaboration? Like I'm trying to get that milli plus on the next video.
Yeah. I mean, so in LA and especially in that circle, I mean, it's really interesting, and I do come off as like a fan, but I'm also like a genuine fan. You know, like how you've probably seen videos and stuff where like people just take pictures with people just because they're famous. Like when there's like a crowd, you're like, I'm just gonna grab a picture with this guy because he's famous. But with me, bro, like when I meet people, I give them the deep cuts. I'm like, you know what, bro? I know this and this and that. I know your entire story. I'm like a genuine bro. Like I know everything about you, dog. I'm not just some like random Joe Schmo who's just gonna like post this picture on Instagram and hopefully get a repost and 1 million followers. I give them the like Nardwar type beat. I'm like, yo, this kid actually knows, you know. And you know, I tell them like not an elevator pitch. I just kind of let them know who I am and stuff. And when you're in LA, like your Instagram mutuals also mean a lot. It gives you a lot of credibility. So when people look up your page, there's been times when like people look up my page, you're like, damn, you're followed by like this guy, this guy, this guy. These are some credible people. So like, okay, I'll like keep you in my network and stuff. That's always like a surreal feeling. But yeah, I mean, it's a really fine line of like not trying to be a ladder climber and just trying to like create a genuine connection. It's a very fine line, and it's tough to walk sometimes because like obviously, you know, these guys are multi-millionaires. Everyone's out to go get them and benefit from them. But for me, I'm just like, just meeting you is just like that's the blessing right there. Like that's so cool. And if things go well, like you know, we may connect. But the thing with me is like I'm really persistent. Like I learned the good lessons from the Eric going to Logan Paul thing, where it's just like you just have to be persistent. And like over time, I just kept meeting these people. I kept getting FaceTime with these people, like Ludwig and Eric. They met me, like Colin and Samir. They met me multiple times, and then I just like low key became part of the team. And like now I can like text them whenever, and it's so surreal. But I never ever took it as like a ladder climbing opportunity where I was like, yo, like Graham, Stefan, let's like make a video together. Let's make like 1,000,000 podcasts. I had a podcast of my own, and I never like asked anyone like, yo, dude, you got to come do this. Because for people in LA, it's like there's 80 million other people who've already asked them, you know what I mean? Who are also more successful and who have like a better platform and stuff. And it's tough to cut through the noise. So I'd rather just have the genuine connection and conversation rather than like a podcast, you know what I mean? It'd be dope if it comes to me naturally, but I don't want to force anything.
And I think the cool part about that too, man, is especially when you are creating and you have your own style and vision. Like these days, I know you're doing the top fives, the top tens. You're doing a lot of gaming content. I think finding your own voice, because no matter how many shout outs you get, no matter how many collaborations you get, people are always just going to view you as like a side character in someone else's like thing, even if you do get that podcast episode or whatever it is. And I think, you know, for both of us, we're both trying to make videos, actually build our own brands, actually get good at making content, entertain an audience, provide like some sort of value to someone, whether it's informational or it's entertainment wise. And I think just from the act of doing it and actually being in the game, scoring and like failing and learning from those mistakes, that's more gratifying, and that's where your validation should be coming from anyway. And the opportunity to talk with these creators and, you know, to hear from them like, oh, you're on the right path, or even just a one-to-one conversation about stuff only you guys would know about because you're in it. Like, I guess you could say like athlete to athlete sort of thing, where, you know, you're not looking to come up off of them. You're both actively participating in this sport that we're playing. And
Yeah.
I think that's super important, because then you become a part, rather than it coming from a place of I need this connection or I need this even network, so to speak, to validate me. You're able to create art and you're able to create this content and then kind of run it by them as if they're your peers. And when it becomes on a peer level kind of connection, that's when it's the best, because these are people that have done it at the highest level. The few conversations
I see them as mentors for real.
Yeah, and the few conversations I've even had with big creators, it's just been about videos and like stuff that I think about on a daily basis. And so to see them thinking about those same concepts is like, oh snap, like I'm actually doing the thing, like this is dope. And it motivates me to just keep posting rather than looking for a collab or something off of them, because at the end of the day, it's just about getting better and making a better video so that we can reach more people. And yeah, man.
Yeah, a dark side of that is like, have you seen that side of YouTube where it's just like gifting X to big YouTuber, like surprising them? Today,
Making Mr.
I'm gonna
Beast
surprise
airplane.
Mr. Beast. I'm gonna surprise Mr. Beast with this like cake or something, with like Mr. Beast's face on it. I'm like, you know, it's crazy. 1,000 people have already done that, and like, you know, he's not going to be your best friend. You're not going to be part of his team right after that. You know what I mean? Like, it's a whole niche. It was popping for a while. I think that was like also a dark side of what Eric did there. It was just like becoming you need to like go to Logan Paul and give him X and then launch yourself off that. There's like a couple successful stories of that happening again and again. Like Jack Pembroke is a great example recently. Like he launched his YouTube channel because he like completed the full circle. He like stole Logan Paul's couch again and then gave it back to Eric. Yeah, that happened. And I'm just like, that's crazy. You know what I mean? And then that was like one of the first videos on his channel, and now he's just a full-fledged YouTuber, and he took that video and like capitalized on it.
I think it's crazy. Just I'm laughing because it's like, imagine explaining that to like your parents.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's not gonna work, bro. That's not gonna happen.
This dude stole a couch and made a career, and that's the thing with Eric, like you said, that particular story. I remember watching that too. I'm pretty sure it was during quarantine, and I was like, this is the method, bro. Like I gotta stalk out Logan Paul and I gotta steal one of his household items and just make a YouTube series. And like it worked for him. He was able to spin it. I don't think people were doing it as much, and he was able to really make like a good solid show out of it. And regardless of that collab, I truly believe Arak would have made it anyway. Just
But
the
yeah,
kind
yeah.
of content he was making. He didn't. Logan Paul was the reason why he was able to break that barrier. I think the Dan Bilzerian episode also was a big thing. I don't know if it happened before or after, but
I remember that. That video is it's like not gone from the internet, but it definitely there was a lawsuit over that, and I was just like, that is so sick, bro. I also went to that house. This is Armand lore, but I went to that house one time because Jason Derulo was renting it, and I was like an extra in a video on that. And me and my friends were looking. I'm like, yo, this is like where Arak was hiding to get into Dan Bilzerian's party, bro. This is so sick. This is like so monumental, bro. Like, look at us just in a $200 million house, just yapping away over here. Like, LA is surreal, bro.
you know, I've been to LA a couple of times, and I think my first impression of it was also like, oh, I'm just gonna walk down Hollywood Boulevard and I'm gonna run into The Rock or something like that. Is it actually? Because, you know, of course, I feel like when you're working in the industry, you know, LA is where entertainment is. That's where everyone's going. Is it actually like that though, to some degree, where you might actually just run into somebody at a gas station and they just, you know, they're doing something like in the creative space?
Definitely. I mean, there's a lot of times for me anyway. I mean, I just have a keen eye for things. I just notice people a lot more. Like, I've genuinely like met celebrities just out and about, and it's happened multiple times. Just like at like a grocery store, I'm just like, oh, what the hell, you know? And I mean, that just comes with proximity. You know, I actually like live in like proper LA, and it's just like there's just a proximity where just people will be. They have to live here. I'm near like Paramount Pictures, Warner Brothers Studios. There's just actors just around. You know? It just happens. But like if you're going in there like expecting it to happen in like a week, like you're gonna meet Brad Pitt, DiCaprio, and Tom Cruise like in 3 days, it's not gonna happen. But I've lived here for 20 years, and it's just like it does happen. You know, I'm just like, yo, that's Willem Dafoe. Well, that's Justin Long. I've seen like paparazzi taking pictures of Brad Pitt. I'm like, wow, that's crazy. Brad's just right there. I'm looking at him with my own eyes, and it's just surreal, bro.
There's this TikToker, I forgot the guy's name, but I know he's from Egypt and he's a street photographer.
Peter Fode.
Yep. This man has built an entire career of
He just
walking
camps
up and down.
Rodeo Drive.
It's insane how like that is the formula. A public place where anyone can go. He's just going and just waiting, and he'll probably run into someone where he can make content with.
Oh yeah, that happens. I mean, if you camp out Rodeo Drive, like him, like he like takes a person's picture, gives them an interview, and asks them for advice. Peter, like, yeah, I mean, I've seen it. I mean, I remember like, I don't go to that area much, but I remember I was just driving by one time to get to a friend's house, and I have really good eyes with this kind of stuff. I'm like, oh, that's Laura Dern. I know who that is. I mean, I'm not gonna do anything with that, but I'm just like, well, that's crazy. She's in Star Wars. That's interesting. That's LA, huh? And I'm just, but people like that you can definitely farm. If you chill there for a week, you'll definitely see some people, bro.
We were talking about this also of how like college, the idea of going to college was like, you know, you go to school, you get this degree, and you network on LinkedIn and all this stuff. With the creator space, like, bro, you could be a high school dropout, you could be a kid. Look at Big Justice and like all of these like, like they're, you know what I'm saying? Like these are 10-year-olds, 11-year-olds.
Big Justice has a Stanford MBA practically.
So my question to you is like, how much do you think traditional education plays a role at all if someone's trying to go into the content industry, or they just straight up don't need to?
In content creation, I believe the only benefit that it gives you is peace of mind that you do have a fallback. Because I remember PewDiePie, he was going to school for like engineering, and he was like selling hot dogs outside to like fund his college tuition. Ryan Higa was going to Nevada just to go because, you know, he's Asian. Ray William Johnson, as you know, was going to an Ivy League school and like making videos on his laptop. And he decided to drop that. But I think just for normal people, the only benefit that college and traditional stuff can give you is that it gives you a peace of mind. Like, because not everyone's guaranteed to be Kai Cenat, but just having a degree on the back of your head makes you go harder on this because you're just like, all right, you know, like Ludwig has a degree in journalism. I'm sure it helps him to some level, like but you know, he's not getting jobs because of his degree, you know what I mean? Like Eric himself has like a business degree, I believe. Or almost did, but he dropped out because 2020 YouTube. All that stuff is it definitely gives you like a path, because a lot of people they just have pathways, you know. Ever since you're a kid, you're going to elementary school, and then middle school, high school, college, and then once you're done with college, you go to a job, and everything's just laid out for you, right? Like there's a path, there's people around you doing it, so you're like, all right, I'm good, you know. You have friends who are doing it with you. But with YouTube and stuff, it's kind of isolating, you know. Like, what if Ryan Higa just uploaded like 3 videos on YouTube and just never did anything else because he just didn't feel like it, you know? Because there's, you know, it is a job, but like there's no boss. No one's telling you need to upload every week. And a lot of people in the world, they're used to just having tasks and pathways and stuff. So when you're a creator, you have to be your own boss. You have to do things on your own. No one's gonna tell you to do anything, bro. And I feel like certain people's personalities don't mesh well with that, and it's a lesson you have to learn. It's just like, well, the world's your oyster now. Do whatever you want. Did someone go to Jimmy Donaldson and tell him to look at his webcam and count to 100,000? No one told him. He was just like, I'm gonna just do that, and it's somehow gonna get 25 million views on YouTube and change my life.
Yeah, and I think it's the purest form of entrepreneurship in a way where, like you said, there's no boss and you're just there's an infinite amount of videos you can make. Like you could always be working. The clock never stops when you're a creator. And so you have to, if you're the kind of person that can define a schedule, define what's enough, I feel like first and foremost, of like, what am I aiming for? Because if not, I'm just gonna burn out making videos forever. And you gotta define and really create your own path to what kind of content am I doing? Why am I doing it? What am I expecting from this? What is considered like a good, I guess, like retirement plan, or like where do I see this going in the long run?
Yeah.
And yeah, man, the beauty of it too is as you build that catalog, and let's say you do get to the level of a lot of these YouTubers we mentioned, the Arax, the Mr. Beast, and whoever, looking back over the hundreds of videos these guys have made, that catalog is still earning revenue and it's still a part of the video library. So even with videos that don't do as well initially, it might pick up steam later. It might be a video that's looked back on or has a viral moment that people, you know, it resurfaces. And so there's no wasted time with that also. You can kind of have the benefit of the library.
Yeah, and it's also like very like top heavy. I know you mentioned like Big Justice and AJ. I'm sure they've made over 7 figures doing what they've done. If you have any semblance of like financial like knowledge, you know, if you make that amount, throw it into the S&P 500, and then that's your new salary. You can live off that now. You know what I mean? So a lot of these creators, they have like their moment. Like it's not. I guess it's like a flash in the pan, because there's so many people that come and go. It's very rare for people to stick around that much. But when you are at that peak, when you're at the like Ryan Higa level and like Smosh level, you have to utilize all that money and fame that you can get and try to make yourself just very comfortable and not have to worry about your bottom line all the time. Because like Jimmy did the same. He did a little bit. He did buy like luxury cars and stuff and hypebeast stuff, but then he eventually stopped because he knew that stuff was pointless. Like FaZe Apex is like a great example. Muslim guy, peak like really high highs in FaZe, and like the car he got was like some like chill like Audi sedan. You know what I mean? But like he also had another Muslim friend in FaZe who was like getting Audi R8s and McLarens and mansions, and I'm like, okay, so this guy, he might run out soon, you know. There's the Fuzi tubes, and then there's also the Cypher PKs who like, you know, chill, you know what I mean? Just it's coming in, but you don't know if it's gonna come in forever, so just rack it up to the point where you can just live off comfortably, you know what I mean?
I think that's the beauty about content too, is that there's no right way to do it.
Yeah.
That really benefits you, especially if you're trying to build like a financial, like a safety net. bro, people have made a killing off of reaction videos alone. And when you really
Yeah.
think about what a reaction video is, it takes less effort than setting up this call that we're doing right now. You straight up just
Yeah,
get
yeah.
your webcam, overlay the video in front, boom, that's your video. You just crank those out one by one by
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
And we've seen
I mean,
you've seen yeah.
yeah, I mean that's what Kai and like XQC. That's like their streamers' bread and butter, to be honest. So it's crazy. Hassan Piker, he reacts to CNN, bro.
Yeah, he's a CNN reaction channel for 8 hours a day, and he's
Yeah, yeah.
at the top. He's not only is he more relevant than probably most major news networks like that, but his budget is way less. It's confined to everything in his room and maybe some managers and staff that he has, because of course at that scale he has a team. But you can scale it down to like just using your phone and have a
Yeah, bro.
multi-million-dollar career. And
Keith Lee.
Keith Lee, yeah, great example. A guy who is the face of food TikTok, and he's just using his front camera, not even editing, just vibing.
Yeah, I mean, I get TikTok sometimes of just like people just eating food on their front camera, and it's like not even high quality. I'm looking at the views. I'm like, damn, why does this have 5 million likes? It's just someone eating a burger, bro. I'm just like, that's crazy, man. That's the world we live in, bro.
That's one thing too, where when I started making videos, and at this point in my life, I'm blessed where TikTok is actually my job, and I'm able to sustain myself, and I don't have to do side gigs or even work other jobs. I can pour my all into making videos. And when I tell people that sometimes, and I'm having conversations, the immediate assumption that, oh, this person's a TikToker, or this person's a content creator, or I guess specific to TikTok and short form platforms, is that you're doing content like that. You're doing like, I don't know if they're thinking I'm just like doing the gritty like on camera all day, or like I'm like
Yeah.
doing mukbangs on camera. But these platforms really allow you to do whatever genre you want. You have people doing like deep philosophical, political takes and debates on their TikTok account. You have people dancing. You have people doing vlogs and like breakdowns where they have the green screen in the back and they're just like pointing at facts and stuff. And so it's really dope how it's provided everyone a place to share their perspective. Gary Vee has like and he gets a ton of crap just for the hard work motivation kind of vibes that he's always
Yeah,
preaching.
yeah.
But
He's like become a meme because of like he's been saying this stuff for like a long time, but it works though. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, he's proof that it's dead ass, bro.
yeah, I'm a fan of his stuff, and he has like a shtick, I guess you could say, where he talks about you could like make videos about Smurfs, and if you're the guy who's into Smurfs and you're just posting content about that all day, you have a niche. And he's right. There's probably a Smurf YouTuber somewhere who's like making, whether it's through products or through affiliate, they're probably able to make a decent amount of money from any topic. And
Yes.
I think it's dope, man. I think that's the beauty of the creator economy, is that there's no middleman. Like you don't have to go to Diddy parties anymore and like
Yeah. 1000.
finesse your way through Hollywood agents and all this stuff. You just pick up your phone and just let it rip.
I remember like as a kid, there's there was this Clash of Clans YouTuber like I just kept watching all the time, and this was like 2013, 14, right? And this is all he does. Like he's never deviated from Clash of Clans videos. But I remember like he was like 14 and like he was kind of like from like a low income household, and he like just made literally videos from his phone screen recordings. And then literally I like checked back on him like a year or two ago, and then it's like day in the life vlog. I'm like, whoa, you live in a nice crib, you got a wife, 2 kids, and you're making Clash of Clans videos, bro. You know what I mean? He's still doing like Supercell like Brawl Star. I'm like, yo, this
Yeah.
ain't real, bro. No way, man. No formal education. He just locked in on Clash of Clans, just vibing. You know what I mean?
As a brown dude having to like, because we both have a similar dilemma. I don't know how much, and this is a family to family thing, but the overarching culture, obviously, we all kind of have this universal experience where it's like, bro, what do you mean you're gonna sit home and play video games and make money? Like, go become a doctor, dude. Like, shut the hell up and go back to school.
Yeah.
And so, like, if you were able to make a grip off of Clash of Clans content or any sort of game, like everything in this space is already unorthodox, but especially when it comes to that level, like, how do you like? I think it's just getting over whether it's the insecurity thing or a family thing, like it's so foreign to our people. I wonder what it's going to be like when push comes to shove, like when it actually happens for both of us and we're making videos and we're doing like collaborations and that becomes like a job. That's going to be an interesting time to be like, yeah, hey, wife and kids, like NordVPN is paying the bills this month. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, for me, like, my parents, they always thought this stuff was BS, bro. That they all thought this was like complete bullshit, bro. There's absolutely not a single chance any of this is real. Like, I remember when we, like, I show them Mr. Beast videos sometimes, and we only watch it in like Hindi, because like it just processes with our families better. Like, they feel like a familiarity, like, आज हम लोग $10 lakh देंगे, and then they're like, oh wow, wait, that means something. And
Yep.
they're like actually seeing people's lives being changed. But like in reality, like I remember getting my first YouTube paycheck. Like I like deliberately wanted to get like a check, like a mail it in check, because like if it like hits your direct deposit, like it's real, but like I like showing a screenshot to your mom like that, like they're like, I don't know what this is. But then I remember like the first paycheck came in the mail. It said from Google, with like the address of the Google office and then the money, and they're like, oh wait, this is like my job. It like comes in the mail, and like a paycheck has the company's name, it's got the dollars, it's got the tax, it's got, whoa, this is like legit, bro. And then I was like, yeah, dude, it's not a joke. Like I got that by making dumb videos on the internet. And like you worked 9 to 5 to get that, you know what I mean? It's a different vibe, you know.
Do you
So
think
it's
it's one of
crazy.
those? Do you think it's one of those things over time? It's just like, because I mean, no matter what, you got to deal, even with just making videos. You got to let go of what people are gonna say. And no one's ever gonna. You can't make everyone happy, especially when you're doing an unorthodox career. But from what you've seen, either with like family, or just your overall impression of like where Desis are at with it, do you think it's just gonna take decades and time to like for this
Um,
to adjust?
I think we're almost there. Like almost like we have to be. I mean, there's so many people in our like Desi space now. Like, my parents really love Just Rain. They love watching his
Mm.
videos. I remember putting it on, and then I used to tell them, and like my mom always used to ask, like, what does he do for work? I'm like, hey mom, this is his work. This is it right here. That's what he does. He's not a doctor. He's not an engineer. This is it. He's entertaining millions of people, our people, Daisy people. He's got the story, right? And this is what he's doing, bro. He's like, now he's making TV shows and like streaming services in Canada. He's like a brown Mr. Beast, bro. So it's crazy.
I remember seeing Hassan Minaj talk about it, about how I think his parents still want him to go to law school,
Yeah.
despite the the comedy career he's built, and it makes sense, right? Like we're very privileged where we grew up in this country, and you can understand the mentality of, especially immigrant mindset of like, come to the States, get an education, set up the future generations for success. Because when you actually do, if you go the doctor, lawyer, engineer route, and you make that your thing, yes, you're sacrificing 10, 15 years of your life, but the ideal is like, yeah, bro, you're chilling. The next 3 generations off of that alone are going to be good. There'll be a lot more opportunity. So while I recognize that and I empathize with it, it doesn't, for me at least, it doesn't take away from the validity of this on its own as a career option and as an
Yeah.
opportunity to start a business.
I mean, that was also their era. That was the 80s and 90s, and I mean, the dark part of the United States is even like that's not guaranteed anymore. You know what I mean? Like even I know like cousins who got like dope computer science degrees where like you would think like, oh yeah, you get a computer science degree, you just walk in, get a job at Google, 6 figures, you're good, done. But that's not how the world works anymore. It's not 1985. If you do have a computer science degree or X degree, there's 70,000 other people on the same line as you. People graduate every year, and everyone's got the same story. It's like a lot of immigrant. It's like it's very oversaturated. Everything's super oversaturated right now, and it's like I've never heard of like my entire life. I'm just like, damn, I got like 3 cousins right now with like the ideal perfect education degree, and they're still like working like at like Best Buy. I'm like, yeah, you could have done that without the college debt, bro. You could have just walked in there, gotten a job. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's scary stuff, bro.
With the creator, I guess, industry growing too. I've even noticed like Dr. Mike is the Mr. Beast type example. Like he's at the highest pedestal of that. But I've even just seen doctors, lawyers, these professionals. They're booting up their own YouTube channels too. And it's crazy when you think about it because they view that as an outlet or extension of their own business. One thing I have covered a couple times on my channel is with academics or even just like professors, because as dope as it is to like get a PhD, bro, I know a couple of people on that route and like they're like in poverty, bro. It's like absolute, it's terrible. Like our
Yeah.
country, the way the system is set up, PhDs and scientists and a lot of these even educated people, like you said, people that go the comp sci route or people that have high value degrees, it doesn't always net out into like what you're looking for financially. And so when you have a YouTube channel to grow a business or as a way of expressing yourself, it's actually just a it's kind of like a LinkedIn page. It's just a professional another professional arm of the thing you already went to school for. I wonder, like, even for Dr. Mike, how much him being a YouTuber has helped him just as a medical practitioner. Or you look at Dr. K, who's built this entire business. With that, I'm curious of like, do you think it'll get saturated for creators? Because now it's like it's kind of hip to be a content creator.
It is hip. Like as we said, like everything got very democratized in the quarantine era. It was it like goes to show that like low key everyone wanted to do this, like, you know what I mean? And like every doctor, like even a decade ago, all this stuff was still there. Like I remember Dr. Pimple Popper, she's an OG. I used to watch her on YouTube all the time, her compilations. But yeah, I mean, it is very hip and popular. Like you know the statistic, the number one job kids want to be now is YouTubers. This is something that's like legitimate now, and like everyone sees it. Like every community has like their person, like Kai Cenat's rise in streaming. Like now I see like so many people who are like inspired by that, and I'm just like, yo, this is crazy, man. Like a story like that is like a kid from the mud, bro. Just like Kai Cenat, just like he had nothing going on for him, and there's like so many dope pictures of him of like being a fan next to FouseyTube taking selfies and stuff, and like he's like a broke kid trying his best. Cut to a decade later, multi-million-dollar mansion, chilling with Kevin Hart, and the only thing he did was put his personality on the internet. And I like back then, like when he went to school, getting detention, and like I'm sure his mom was pissed. Like, why are you like making jokes in class? Why are you going to detention? You know, you just chill, do your homework, and like go work at like State Farm in like 5 years. You know what I mean? But in reality, his personality was the thing that made him a multimillionaire, which is so crazy. You know what I mean?
What do you think is going to happen to traditional media then? Because like even I made a video recently on Don Lemon, who was this big name CNN anchor for like 15 years, and he's straight up doing like he's doing man on the street interview. This is like a world renowned journalist,
Yeah.
dumbing it down to like the purest form of TikTok. And so I wonder if like, are we even going to need a CNN or Fox or like any of these companies, or like is there ever going to be a centralized place for news and for a lot of the entertainment that we get, the information that we get?
That's interesting, bro. Because for a lot of Gen Z, there, like we said, like their CNN is Hassan Piker. You know what I mean? Like I have never turned on the channel to go to CNN or Fox or whatever to consume any news, but I like subconsciously I just get it, you know, off Twitter, off Instagram, off this and that. Like we just like I get my financial news from like some YouTubers, bro. Like honestly, I don't keep up with this stuff, and traditional media, like for like Gen Alpha and like Gen Beta, bro, they're gonna be getting financial advice from AJ and Big Boom Justice, bro. That's you know what I mean? When there's a new war, they're Big Boom. That's how we're gonna have to get it, bro.
And they're getting it from ChatGPT, bro. So it's like, where are we really headed? Like, with information, because it's everyone's got a fair chance at this point. It's just who's getting the most views, which is also kind of scary from like a misinformation standpoint too, of like who's holding the checks and balances. Because at least with traditional media, there's like, you know, I feel like you have like the corporate kind of environment, like there's a bit more structure. I think YouTube and a lot of these platforms do a great job of moderating content, and they're not just allowing people to come on and say whatever. But it really does in a lot of ways come down to a popularity contest in some ways, where the loudest voices are the ones they're the most influential, and they're the ones who have the most impact on that space. I mean, you have the Tate brothers as a perfect example of that, and how they took over TikTok. And because they were able to do this TikTok strategy, they were the most Googled person on the earth at one point. just by leveraging social media, and like they became more popular than news channels, anchors. They're the biggest people in the world, and it's yeah, it's different times we're in. It's unlike anything we've ever seen in media ever. I feel like.
Yeah. I mean, some white kid from North Carolina just made the biggest game show in history, you know, and
Yeah.
traditional media has had Survivor. They've had this and that and this game show and that game show, but a YouTuber like ended up just surpassing all of it. And like he beat them at their own game using his methods. So it's very interesting. I mean, traditional media it's in a shaky spot. I mean, Succession touched up on a lot of this stuff where it's just like really random TikTokers and YouTubers have more leverage than traditional media now. Like I mean, bro, this election it was decided by Joe Rogan, Logan Paul, Theo Vaughn. Those are the ones who decided the election. You know, Kamala, she didn't go on Joe Rogan, and she took the hit for that. Because that's where everyone is. I'm not watching CNN interviews, 60 Minutes. Just like I want to hear Trump talk about golf and aliens and like his favorite movie, and like he just comes off as so likable. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, like in a Joe Rogan podcast, just chilling out, yapping about whatever, while Kamala is just like, we're gonna do this. I'm speaking. It's like that just doesn't work anymore, man. I want you to be with Theo Vaughn. I want you to yap about you know, the new Adam Sandler movie. That's the way. That's who I'm voting for. You know what I mean? I'm not. You know what I mean? Just like trying to think of it as a collective people. He just comes off as likable.
There's a clip of Theo Vaughn asking Trump about cocaine, and it's like, bro, like
Peak.
if you think about it, like this dude broke through all the barriers of traditional media. He's doing a podcast with the president of the United States, and he's like, yeah, it's like coke and alcohol. Like, what's supposed to do with that, Mr. President? Like, it's just insane, and like you said, it humanizes him in a way, and it humanizes anyone who gets on those platforms. It's the most dangerous, and I say dangerous in terms of like efficiency. It's the coldest campaign tool that any politician has right now that they're probably not utilizing. AOC is someone who's making a lot of content right now on TikTok. I've done a breakdown on that. I know there's Bernie Sanders who's going crazy on YouTube, straight up just sitting in front of the camera and just talking politics, talking about the state of the country. And it's like that is the most effective way to reach people this day and age.
Yeah, I mean, literally this election was straight up, like no joke, it was decided by podcasts and TikTok. That was it. That was the X factor. Everyone knows it. Literally just like it humanized Trump so much. Like I remember watching him on the Andrew Schultz podcast, and they're just cracking jokes, and like even Logan Paul was like asking him about aliens, and then Trump was like, Tom Cruise but taller. These fighter pilots have seen aliens. I'm like, oh yeah, dude. This is so sick.
This is
I already know
right
what
here,
Kamala would have said. She would have been like, I've never seen any of this stuff. And I'm like, bro, you're the vice president. You know something. You know something. You know a little something. You know a little something about something.
What are the odds you think that we're gonna get like a YouTuber running for president? Actually, like I think if Mr. Beast ran,
If he ran, he would win.
isn't that the craziest thing to like? Because I agree with you.
Sure, but the guy from Home Alone and Zoolander's also president right now. So how crazy is that? Ronald Reagan was a movie star. People liked him because he was just like a Clint Eastwood type figure back in the day in his movies, and he became president. Because being likable is everything. Because in this election, Kamala came off as like the corporate straitjacket woman who's also bombing Palestine, while Trump came off as the hero who survived a headshot. You know what I mean? It's just like, who would you vote for, bro? Like that shit. Like, if I ask some guy from Kentucky or Tennessee, bro, we'll really think about it, bro. Is he going for the guy who's just like America? You know what I mean? It just looks sick, bro. I'm sorry. Like that was the most American like shit ever.
It's straight branding, dude.
That shit was sick branding, bro. The pictures, that's like, it's gonna be in textbooks, bro. I don't think any president has had a more iconic picture. He's just a showman, bro. He had to figure it out. Like Captain America, bro. Harrison Ford got shot literally the exact same way, and he turned into the Hulk, bro. They got it figured out, bro.
I think that's where the left, or just Democratic politicians in general, kind of missed the mark of this past election. Because even like you said, TikTok or podcast was a big thing for Trump, but even TikTok and short form platforms and doing very quick collaborations. Like when he went on Aiden Ross's stream was the craziest thing ever. And I heard about that through TikTok. I heard about that through a kick stream. Yeah. And like the clips from that were just going crazy. And even with that's the thing too. Even if a lot of those viewers aren't able to vote or eligible to vote, their comments, their reposts of that video all contribute to the mass media pool, which is going to affect the people that do get the chance to vote.
Yeah, 1000%. And like Kamala also had like the brat summer moment, but I was also just like, show this video to someone in like a flyover state. Show this to someone in Alabama. Is this brat summer edit gonna change this guy's mind? Like it's sure. I mean, it reinforces the Democrats. Like, oh, this is fun. But you got to try way harder. Kamala, you need to go on Joe Rogan. You got to talk about golf. You got to talk about smoking weed. You got to talk about nothing. Like, you don't even need to talk about politics. You just got to come off as likable, bro. If Joe Rogan and Kamala talked about COD zombies for an hour, she would have probably won, bro. Type shit.
Straight up, bro.
I'm saying, bro. Like, none of this, like, no one wants to hear any of this traditional shit. Like, you and I both know none of it matters. Trump's been talking about building a wall since 2015. There is no wall. It's all yapping. Everything's yapping, bro. So you just have to yap better and be more entertaining. That's it, bro. That's literally it.
We got presidents clip farming in 2025.
Literally, bro. Like you said, if Jimmy Donaldson ran, think about it, bro. His name is Jimmy Donaldson, a kid from North Carolina, working class family
on lockdown.
Working class family, HD video history of his whole life. He charitable person without any political power. I can imagine it, just like him in a suit with the White House in the back. He's like, I am running for president. Easy dub. If Nico Omalana can like almost get there, Jimmy can definitely if a couple boomers die off in like 5 years, Gen Alpha grows up and they're eligible to vote, it's wraps. There's no way he's losing, bro. He's a white kid. His name is Donaldson. Like, there's no way. There's no way, bro. GG.
It's crazy, dude. Like, and like you said, there are previous examples of politicians. Like even Arnold, he was a
governor.
movie star, and he had governor of California. And with YouTube, that now that it's become a worldwide thing, it's that just on steroids. Like you can even pass political power, bro. Like he can go to he's solid in every country in the world. You can go wherever and he'll be good.
I mean, IShowSpeed was like the mayor of that city. I mean, bro, it's legit, man. It happens, bro. I'm sure people back in the day was like, damn, Ronald Reagan from the Western movies? That guy was president? Donald Trump, the guy who like owns the hotels and he's in Home Alone, that guy's the president? Yeah, I mean, we're just one step away from being like, yeah, Mr. Beast, the biggest YouTuber in the world. Yeah, Mr. President.
When are you running for office, bro?
Huh?
When are you running for office?
When am I running for office? Bro, that is not my game, man. I'm going to let Fidias and Jimmy Donaldson figure that out, bro.
I think it's interesting, man. It's
AOC's an Instagram politician. That's how she got her stuff pre-COVID. I remember that.
Her rise came from like social media. Like that's how she was able to get in office.
She utilized a lot of like New York and like she utilized social media a lot to get there. She was so young when she first got in like 2018, 19 era. So yeah. She made it happen.
She was the youngest congresswoman, I think, in history at that point. And so, yeah. Social media.
Instagram was a big part of that.
I'm curious your view on because I'm not going to name drop anybody, but some professional athletes who also you've probably met through Creator Space LA. I'm curious of like their view or just conversations you've had with people from different backgrounds, whether they're content creators or they're just famous, so to speak. How have like people that are already established viewing social media? Are they also viewing it as like a retirement plan? Because you have like Draymond Green and folks like that who are in sports who are soft launching their media careers even while playing. Like you had Josh Hart in the playoffs, I think a year ago, like podcasting throughout the series, like each game after game. And so, like from conversations you've had behind the scenes, how are people viewing it as a tool?
Oh, it's like it is a massive tool, man. I mean, obviously, like I've met like so many people in the NBA that just utilize podcasting. It's huge, bro. Like I know JJ Riddick has a podcast of his own. So many, like LeBron has The Shop on HBO. I know that's not like social media, but still, it's just like, what's it called? The biggest one, I think everyone forgets this, is Aiden Ross's origin story of how he blew up. This was 2020. We're still in the pandemic. He games 2K with Bronny James. He plays with him all the time. And guess who gets LeBron James on the mic? Aiden Ross talks to him. He's like, "Yo, is this LeBron?" "Yeah, what's good, man? I know you play with Bronny. It's cool." This was honestly, if you look at the date, it's like October of 2020. This is post-COVID. We're knee deep in it, and that's like Aiden Ross's first viral clip. And I'm just like, "Yo, look at this guy, bro. He's just playing with LeBron's son, running up 2K with him, and it's just like, this is crazy, bro." Bronny James is low key. Well, he was a streamer before he was an NBA player, bro.
Yeah, you even have that now, bro. I saw there was this couple. I think Michael and Kiana was the name of the couple channel. Long story short, this dude, like, he's a wide receiver in the NFL, but he was vlogging, like he was doing a couples vlog channel. Doc, I think he was at USC actually. Yeah, so he was doing football content as well, like workouts and whatnot. But the YouTube thing had been there from the jump, and just being, in that age group, probably millennial, probably not Gen Z, but definitely millennial age, like YouTube is kind of like the main medium for entertainment, and like you're gonna make content, you're gonna want to naturally make the kind of content that you watched. And so we're gonna see that coming up, like this next generation of hoopers or athletes are gonna be vlogging from day one, and you're literally going to see like a future NBA champions journey from like age 7 in competitive ball all the way to like they're 30, like an entire they're gonna be live streaming at the game, bro.
Yeah,
like
Cannon Curry probably has that going on right now, bro.
Yeah, man, he's got cameras and it's like, why wouldn't you too? From of course, like you're trying to maintain your kid's sanity. Like, that's this
Ronaldo's son, he's on his YouTube channel pretty heavily.
Interesting. Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
is he playing soccer?
If he wants to, he's got the best resources in the world, or he could just chill at home, play Roblox all day, and he'll still be a millionaire.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? These kids, they got it. They got the world. I mean, it's kind of dark, but if you really think about it, like a lot of these people that are like the best players are kind of like second generation in a way. Curry, he had a dad in the NBA, Del Curry. Kobe, he had Bean Bryant, who was in the NBA. Klay Thompson, Michael Thompson was in the NBA. And, these guys had a really nice setup to become who they are, Bronny James, a real tough setup, Dad wasn't around, you know what I mean? Yeah, no, Bronny James had the easiest road in history to the NBA. And the fact is, he's not even like all that, you know what I mean? Which is crazy. You have LeBron as your dad and all these resources, but like some guy, Wemby, is peak, you know what I mean? Luka Doncic, some guy from Slovenia, bro.
I saw a clip of LeVar Ball actually talking about this exact concept, where he was breaking down how basically second generation, like you said, you have players that come from families where, like, obviously, or so you have like the traditional NBA, like the Allen Iverson type NBA story, got it out the mud. Derrick Rose, a lot of these great players that we grew up watching, and they come up and they become amazing, NBA superstars, Hall of Famers. And then you have the kids who, like, their parents were they were players, role players and whatnot, but they didn't necessarily like completely pan out, like you said. I think Klay Thompson's dad was also in the NBA. And so like they had decent careers, but they were able to help their sons become better than they were. And then you have the other level where it's like the superstars, the LeBron James and all of these different.
That is
Hall
just
of Famers.
Straight out the mud, bro. No dad.
Yeah.
poor mom in Ohio. Now you're a billionaire. That's the story everyone wants to hear. It's just like Ronaldo, broke ass kid from Portugal. You know what I mean? Like nothing going on for him. Lionel Messi, a broke ass kid in Argentina. Nothing going on except he knows how to kick a ball really well, bro. You know what I mean? So coming out the mud stories is everything. And if his son, or if Ronaldo's son decides to pursue soccer, they'll probably be all right. They'll get in. They'll make their millions. But the thing is, they'll never be Messi or Ronaldo, bro. There's something for a lot of people that it's really just, being in the mud just forces you to become great, bro. Because you get when you grow up in that kind of lifestyle, you're kind of comfortable. You know what I mean? Like I'm sure Bronny James, he doesn't have to worry about like getting his parents out the mud, bro. He literally doesn't. I mean, he just playing just to play for like legacy. You know what I mean? There's no stakes. Like if he wanted to go and do whatever, bro, he could have played tennis, and it would have been fine.
I think with Bronny too, though, because I'm rooting for him. I really want him to be, especially because of a lot of the hate that he got. I
Yeah.
definitely want him to become like an all-star. Like I want him to go far as hell just to shut the haters up because I like he's a good dude. He's got a good story. But I think even with, and I'm playing devil's advocate here a little bit of like, I wonder how much more difficult it makes it for them, for people that like come from like Bronny's situation.
Yeah.
The expectations that are placed on you too of like you really have to like for even for him to have made the NBA because like Jordan has sons that never went as far as the NBA or pro, and you can name Hall of Famer after Hall of Famer who has kids that never made it 100% to that desired like NBA draft pick, lottery pick, whatever. You got to really want it if you're in a position like Bronny, bro. Like the fact that he's out here hooping willingly, like, you just go stream with the FaZe guys and you'd be perfectly fine. So the fact that he's actually like a part of the Lakers and he's developing, he's made it that far as a player who just came off of I think basically a heart attack or cardiac arrest he had at USC. Like you got to really want it, and so that's commendable too.
Yeah, 1,000%, 1,000%. But it's a tough situation. It's like damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. Yeah, I mean it's gonna be a tough road, but you and I both know like he'll never be LeBron James, and that comparison's always gonna haunt someone. But like think about like Del Curry's sons, bro. One guy's the greatest shooter of all time. One guy's
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So I wonder what those conversations are like. It's also like that's another example where it's like you really have to lock in. You could have the same exact build, same exact height, same exact environmental factor, same exact dad, same exact mom, same exact food on the plate, but one guy's just going to be better than the other, bro. There's just that X factor that you just can't quantify, man. Seth and Steph are like, if you play on 2K, they're the same person. But you know, one guy you can really just pull on half court all the time. You know what I mean? So I want to like, that's a whole crazy thing to delve into. But like the Plumlees and the Balls, there's a lot of sibling NBA stuff. So it's crazy, man. I wonder if that's gonna happen on YouTube. Like, will Bjorn Gelberg, will he become a YouTuber?
I swear to God, bro, that was where I was going next. I was gonna ask of like, for your kids, if like when YouTube pans out, and like for big YouTubers that have like the Aracs of the world, they have established businesses and careers and whatnot. Is there going to be like a YouTube nepotism kind of situation where you have these kids growing up in the Arac ecosystem and they're going off and doing their own thing, or like how would it? Because you can very easily make a shout out or just even tag it as a second channel. And boom, that's 1 million subscribers going to this newborn child, and they're good. People are waiting for the videos.
If Mr. Beast has a kid, I'm sure he could just work at like Feastables at some middle management, be chilling. Or he could be the next greatest YouTuber of all time. Or he could be really into Clash of Clans, or he could be really into basketball. Jimmy's a 6'5", it's crazy. But yeah, I mean, second generation, it's so interesting. I don't think that's happened yet. I'm trying to think of a YouTuber who's had a kid who also posts on YouTube. They're all pretty young, Roman Atwood came to mind. Ryan's toy reviews out the womb came out with 5 million subscribers, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah, straight up. And then you got Casey Neistat too, but I don't think his kids are like on camera as like he had them a part of the vlogs, but I don't think any of his kids are
Fan Neistat. Logan Paul has a kid right now, and that's gonna be crazy, bro. Imagine they become a vlogger, bro.
Yeah, bro. Whole elementary school sponsored by Prime, like just like
you got all the resources, man, but can you make it out the mud like Logan did? Viner kid. Yeah, I mean, he I wouldn't say he had a rough childhood, Logan, but he had a pretty interesting childhood. You know, growing up in Ohio, throwing up vines. Who knew that would pan out to become $1 billion?
Even for, I think for any YouTuber at this point in the creator economy, so to speak, like it's very, I mean, now it's only going to get better in terms of, like, I guess you could say job security, or the idea that this is a stable and real career. But even Ray William Johnson was majoring in history, was on the pre-law track at Ivy League school, and he dropped out to like make YouTube videos when he was one of the first YouTubers. Like, how crazy, how ballsy of a move that is.
That is super ballsy, bro.
It's like it's unheard of, bro. Like, there's, I don't even know what an analogy would be like, because it's like, bro, you're throwing away at that point, especially too, where the economy and things weren't as crazy as they are. Like, you're going to an Ivy League school and you're gonna go to become a lawyer. Like, that's a path, bro. You're gonna be set for life. And he's like, nah, I'm gonna just like upload 480p videos to the internet, and it's gonna bang and change the course of media forever.
I'm just gonna yap about QWOP, and then that runoff is gonna create Moist Critical.
Yeah, it's gonna influence an entire generation of kids. Like, what are
Ray William Johnson's career has created so many offshoots. It's not even funny. I look back and I'm like, well, that's Boogie2988. Thank you, Ray, for the shout out. That's Moist Critical. That's this guy. So a lot of people have to thank him for what they gave. And like, even during his TikTok era, when TikTok first started, he was actually roasting people. I don't know if you remember. And like, one of those people, like this Willy Wonka guy, I don't really know his name, but like, he got like 10, 20 million followers on TikTok now. I'm just like, yeah, you got roasted by Ray. I remember you, So that stuff's crazy, bro. That stuff's very crazy. Some girl on Squid Game, Mr. Beast Squid Game, is like a creator now. Not the creator you want to be known for, but she's a massive creator, and she was just like a offshoot. You know what I mean?
You've made a handful of videos off of, like, I guess, like parodies, paying homage in a way to Ray William Johnson and Ryan Higa and all of these creators. In your view, like, how, because Ray definitely, when it comes to commentary, that's his, like, that came from him. There was a lot of other creators who were doing that bedroom style video, even Ryan. But like, I feel like every creator, especially early on, even Smosh, was just the idea of comedy in general and doing sketches and skits online. Why did you feel like that those parodies was something you wanted to make as a video? Like, what do those videos mean to you as a creator wanting to pursue this and looking back on those times?
Because that's exactly what YouTube is to me. That's what it always will be. It still stands true today. I mean, that was, like you said, those Smosh videos and Ray William Johnson and Ryan Higa. I mean, these guys are like ultimate YouTubers. All three of these guys, they can post whatever they want and it would bang. Like, they could do their usual stuff, but like, that's not what they are, bro. Ryan Higa, he could drop a music video. He has literally a lot of singles and a lot of albums that are actually kind of peak. Smosh also literally are famous for music videos. Like, Dixon Cider's a great song. Ray William Johnson, doing your mom, doing your mom. You know what I mean? These guys are ultimate YouTubers. They do vlogs. They do podcasts. They do, like, Ryan Higa has a podcast. Smosh has a podcast. Ray William Johnson had a podcast. These guys are just jack of all trades, bro. They're not just known for one thing. These guys can do whatever, and all they're doing is broadcasting themselves. And that's what YouTube was about. Just do whatever you want and people will find you. And that core, that's why I'm like pretty glad Jimmy's like the biggest YouTuber, because you can hit on his oldest videos and he's just playing Minecraft and playing COD and goes all the way up to here, and that like solidifies what YouTube is about. Just throw yourself out there and people will find you, man. So that's what those videos mean to me. It's like, no matter what happens on YouTube, no matter who the biggest creator is, these guys really paved the way, and they literally came from the mud and became multi-millionaires, and they're still around, and they're great role models, and they're good people, and it's insane, man. Like, that's what those videos mean to me. It is an homage. Like, I don't know why people kind of thought like I was making fun of them. I'm like, bro, I'm paying respect to them. These guys are the tippity top. All of them have been #1 on the platform at some point.
There's an analogy Colin and Samir uses, which especially when I was first deciding what kind of content I wanted to make, I ended up choosing, I guess, the creator economy sort of route and doing strategy breakdowns of like creators and whatnot. There's an analogy they have, and I think it was with Hassan Minaj where they broke this down. You have the artist versus the algorithm. And so on one side there's like the pure artistry of I just have to like express my creativity in this way. And the algorithm part is okay, how do I make the best thumbnail, or like how do I clickbait a little bit in this title, or how do I keep the audience optimized for retention and maybe get the video sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends so I can pay the bills. Like you have to balance both of these aspects, and that's the job of being a content creator. What's beautiful about these creators you just mentioned was that was pure artistry. Like they were strictly doing it for the love of the game, and they developed even these business gurus now who are like buy my course and like they're on TikTok like drop shipping and all this. All of it came from just some guys who were being artists, and they were able to develop this entire like industrial like system where people can come in and actually make money for this. I'm curious of when you think about your own channel and you just think about the different ways to scale, because there's a lot of YouTubers now, like it's a common joke of like you make videos, you go viral, you become a YouTuber, start a podcast, sell a product, go do a brand deal, go show up in like a movie or something, and like people are thinking about it from a very business sort of approach. And it's necessary because you have to pay the bills and justify this career that you've chosen. But for you, like how do you define like a fine line, and like how do you view your relationship with that artistry side, but also just growing this into a business? Because it's twofold, and you can go either way, honestly.
As since I've been on this platform for so long, I know that I can't do one thing for a long time. And the creators we mentioned, they've also had those issues. Like Smosh can't create sketches for the better part of 2 decades. It's just impossible. They have to do other things. Ryan Higa can't look at the camera and make funny vlogs and skits all the time. He has to do streaming, he has to do podcasts. RWJ can't do equals 3 forever. He did it for less than a decade, and now he just does whatever he wants. Now there's formats obviously, but for my channel, I've been here for a long time, and I will be here for a long time. And I don't know if I'm just gonna like what if I like next month I could like start a cooking like format. I could be like, I cook this for the first time because I don't know how to cook anything. So it'd be like cool to cook biryani for the first time from scratch. That'd be fun. I could be posting that, and then that could be a whole new thing. The next day I could be like, you know what? There's a lot of things I haven't done in this world. I've never, I'm interested in like pirates existing in the world. I want to be a pirate. Let me hang out with some pirates. I see motorcycle gangs. Why can't I join, bro? I joined a motorcycle gang. I could do that. So I never want to be locked into anything. The channel's called Armand Zadie. I just want to be Armand Zadie. You know what I mean? The channel was called Ryan Higa. He's Ryan Higa. The channel's called Ray William Johnson. He's Ray William Johnson. You know what I mean? So the artistry and the creativity, you're just broadcasting yourself. And obviously with the algorithm stuff, when you find a format, you got to lock in on a format, So that's my answer.
I think the beauty about...
Okay, well, you're good. I thought you cut off for a second.
No, I think it because it was probably my headphones.
Okay.
I think the beauty about it as well and Logan Paul is a perfect example of this, and it's kind of it was kind of scary when it happened, but it was also just like, oh, this is legit. This speaks a lot about this industry and how really having PR mastered is like you become invincible. When he had his whole situation in 2017. And he was this daily vlogger, and he was, making this like, I don't know what his demographic was, but like it was mainly for kids, is what I vaguely.
I was low key watching.
I'm not hating. I was watching too, bro. I was definitely middle school, elementary, whenever it was. Like I was watching those vlogs, and I was enjoying it. And this thing happens, people basically assume like, okay, it's over for this guy, and he's like, since then. Which is in the grand scheme of a business too, and like any media career, it's been less than 10 years. He's like 10x'd where he was at from those days. He's a WWE superstar, bro. He's just objectively, you take the YouTuber aspect of it away, he's like one of the most entertaining wrestlers. He has commercially, just in a business context, a very successful product with Prime, and he's in all of these different spaces. He's just like you said, he's kind of just he's Logan Paul, he's the person. He can go whichever way he wants to with it, and he's good for literally until the day he drops. Like
Diss tracks. He was making music, low gang,
everything,
vlogs, podcasts. He got it, everything. And like, as much as people hate on him, and as much as a controversial figure he is, he really is a true homegrown YouTuber. Like that, straight up, man. It's surreal stuff.
Craft, in terms of the craft and like just building his platform, like, he's done it on a very high level. And that's another thing with content, kind of like what you talked about before with politics. Once you're likable and you've built this sort of audience, the world is your oyster, because at that point people are there for you. And I think that's the main thing with building a following, and not just trying to put out like viral hits and go, whether it's a video that you're collaborating with someone or it's a reaction video. The main goal is to have people are there for a personality. People are there because they want to specifically, they're tuning in to watch your video. They're tuning in to see you. Whether you record on a potato and you're just chilling in your car or anything, like, they're going to watch that video because of this personality you have. I think Logan Paul is an example of that. David Dobrik, plenty of these other creators.
You could cut through cancellation because of how likable you are, like, because people make mistakes. It's a different time, like PewDiePie dropped the hard N-word, bro. He did it. It happened. It was a different time. He apologized. He moved on. Ray William Johnson was making videos in 2005 to 2015. So, you want to get into that. He's a racist. He's a homophobe. He's a whatever. We call this the MW2 era. You know what I mean? Modern Warfare 2, anything goes, bro. You know what I mean? Bro. It's
lobbies,
a whole...
Bro. Hey.
If my Modern Warfare 2 chat's I'm out too, bro. I'm not gonna
I'm cooked, bro. I'm cooked, dog. Bro, if any of these chat logs, bro, I don't even want to talk about it.
Dude, Modern Warfare Black Ops 2, I'm out, bro. I'll see y'all later, bro. I am canceled, my friend. So it is a different time. People make mistakes, bro. We talk about Ryan Higa. What's his channel name, dog?
Yeah. So I don't know the origins of that. Is that...
It's because he is Japanese. That word does mean something else. It means rant.
Okay.
Yeah. It's just one letter off. You know what I mean?
Did he do it intentionally? Is my thing, because I never.
I think it was just a funny, like, it's like a Rucka Ali. It's just like funny, little rhyme, little play on words. Fuzi Yusuf.
It's funny because anytime I've made a video about him, is that your car?
No, it's just outside. I don't know.
It's fine. Anytime I've made a video on him and I've said like his name, like his username, video gets flagged. I can't post it. Like, I had a video that had it did like 250,000+ on TikTok, and like it got flagged, like content review. It got flagged down after a day or two because of it. Apparently, I was being racist. In the
that's crazy, bro. Yeah, I mean, just different time, bro. He was the #1 YouTuber. And like we said, I don't know how happy YouTube was having like Smosh or RWJ or Ryan at the time, or even PewDiePie. They damn well were not happy about that. I can tell you that right now, bro. They didn't put him on YouTube Rewind, bro. He's literally #1. And to even put the Mr. Beast era to perspective, Mr. Beast has never been in a YouTube Rewind ever.
Ever. Yeah, that's something to consider. And they stopped the series too, like in 2022 or 19.
Because 2018 was obviously the most disliked one, and then in 2019 it was like a compilation. It wasn't like a YouTube Rewind. So that just goes to show you the eras. Like, if you watch those videos, like if you binge them, you'll be like, yeah, where's Eric? Where's Ludwig? Where's Mr. Beast himself? You know what I mean? Where's Pokimane? Where's Valkyrie? Where are these people? And like, you think of it, you're like, oh, we're just in a whole different era, bro. Different time.
Yeah, man. Conversation of just this industry is gonna. I mean, and even the whole idea of a creator economy is something brand new. We're in the baby stages of, I think, of this industry. People talk about it, get saturated, and I think naturally it is going to get saturated in the sense of like more and more creators entering the platform, or just engaging and wanting to be creators. But there's still so much opportunity. There's still a lot more creators to come out and get to 100 million subscribers, or even Beast maybe hitting 1 billion one day. There's
He's
a
a third,
lot.
over a third of the way there.
Yeah, it's gonna happen soon, man. I appreciate you for stopping by. We definitely got to do this again. We got to run this back sometime.
Yeah, 1000%. When I lock in and I hit 100K, we gotta run one up for sure.
Yeah, do a little celebration pod. But thank you, man, and we'll keep in touch, bro.